Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from MouseSteps.com.
And this is episode number 402
402
of Mouse Steps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. Disneyland opens up on June 15th to everyone who can go. The Disney Wish comes on board next summer, and we have the 50th anniversary at Walt Disney World kicking off October 1st. There's so much going on in the Disney universe, so check out MEI and Mouse Fan Travel for more information and to book your Disney vacation.
And tomorrow, June 4th, the Avengers Campus opens at Disney California Adventure.
And that's been much awaited, and the land invites guests of all ages to team up with the Avengers and train to be the next generation of superhero. Also, they had their grand opening yesterday.
That's right. Now, of course, we aren't there. We actually had booked to go out there for these opening dates, but because we are not California residents, we had to change our trip.
We almost did Paris too, but you can't go, that hasn't opened up to June 9th yet. So we're waiting. We're probably going to California in August. And then we will see all of this cool stuff.
We're going to start off with Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure.
And this looks like it looks very fun. It reminds me very much of Ninjago the Ride.
Which we might be riding today.
It is possible we'll be riding that tonight over at Legoland. We have an event tonight there.
So here we are. We're taking a look. You're using your hands, just like in Ninjago, to shoot webs at all these various things.
Well, spider bots and
spider
such,
bots, yes. They've escaped. Peter Parker hasn't kept a very good eye on those spider bots, apparently.
And Tom Holland does reprise his role as Spider-Man. And I do love, because we've done Ninjago, I love using the hands instead of a joystick for this type of attraction.
And this is an animatronic, this Spider-Man that you just saw flip up in the sky, although you do have real actors and stunts going on too.
It's outside. Really Spider-Man. You can't say that.
Oh, that's true. There is only one Spider-Man. That's a good point. And there's Captain America. There'll be two Captain Americas, we found out last night.
Well, there'll be one Steve Rogers, right? And one Captain America. I thought that was a very cool announcement last night.
And you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, all kinds, Iron Man, all kinds of characters will be out and about in the land.
And Ant-Man and the Wasp have not been out before like that, so that will be something new. And the Dora Milaje and then Black Widow is coming down here, and that's, so even though it's only one new attraction opening, it really is Avengers Campus is like an attraction into itself with a lot of, if you like characters, if you like, obviously, action, it looks like a fantastic place.
And at the last D23 Expo, they did tease a second attraction. We're not sure when or if that will happen, but it was talked about at one point. The Pym Test Kitchen. This looks like a good time here.
Well, this will offer normal foods at unusual scales with guests watching Pym food scientists working in the kitchen lab. Like a pretzel might transform big or small. And there is a family-size Pymini for $99.99.
Kind of like the old Atomobile, if you remember back in the old days.
I don't
But look at
that.
The food looks pretty interesting.
It does look interesting. I don't know that this will be my first choice for dining, but this would be an impossible meatball with rigatoni. Actually, that looks really good, so I will probably order that. Yeah, it will be interesting to see the food in person in a couple months.
And this will be very interesting, the Shawarma Palace. I think this will be the Ronto wrap of this whole area. Quick and delicious.
It does not look like a palace to me, but that's just me, But they have 2 breakfast and 2 snack wraps, so sort of like Ronto wraps. I mean, they have probably a couple of each. I think I don't eat Ronto wraps, and I won't eat shawarma either. So.
Well, perhaps this will be more up your alley, the bar area. And of course, they have a micro brewery. It fits the theme.
Well, I know you like your beer.
I do.
I had, what I had at Plaza was a sangria, a house-made sangria.
Well,
Plaza restaurant.
We'll be talking about that next week.
And so they do I think this has to do with there's a magnet in it. I've only seen it in person. Maybe what did you say, Carnival Cruise Line?
Yeah, one of the cruises we've taken in the past, they would fill the beer from the bottom. You always have a perfect fill.
It's not something that I see almost ever, but I know that they have it at, I guess, stadiums and such.
And Terran Treats.
And Terran Treats has 2 items. It has a sweet spiral ration, which is like a pineapple churro, and then the Cosmic Creation Orb. So there's 2 treats, very quick and easy also to pick something up.
You know, this kind of reminds me in a smaller scale of when we went to Disneyland Paris and they had their Marvel Summer Fun event.
No, Marvel Summer of Superheroes.
Oh, was it Summer of Superheroes?
Yes.
I get that wrong every time.
Yes, Marvel. It was.
But they had all kinds of food items and things. It was really interesting.
I had a very good time at that.
And of course, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout still going.
I love this ride, and it is so. There's only one new attraction, one new ride in Adventures Campus, but just like Toy Story Land here has Toy Story Midway Mania as part of it. It's the same type of thing.
And we're looking at Doctor Strange here at the Ancient Sanctum area,
and he trains recruits. We have seen him in Disney California Adventure before, just as many of the Marvel characters, but
right.
He gets his own show here. I have not watched it yet.
Well, the way he did that with the portal, we've seen him do that at Disneyland Paris, also in the Marvel stunt show they had.
Yeah, I mean, Disneyland Paris has a lot of Marvel stuff going on. Like they're about to open Hotel New York, The Art of Marvel, and that is opening this month.
So now we're looking at web suppliers, and you're looking at some merchandise, Spider-Man merchandise.
Well, you get they have like the Spider Bot. You can buy that. The Friendly Robotics Sidekick. There's also the Web Power Band, which is a web tech accessory that allows guests to customize their experience on the ride.
Well, the Web Tech Gauntlet would be the ultimate because it will completely change your powers on the ride. So that's and then if you buy the special Power Up Repulsor Gauntlet, it'll even change it all again. So
it's very confusing because until you actually go there,
right.
I think it's going to be a little confusing until
I had to look at my notes for that, of course.
I mean, there's a lot of that would be the Spider Bot.
They look really cool, actually.
It looks like those robots, like when you're a kid and
Rock'em Sock'em
Rock'em Sock'em Spider Bots.
That's very interesting. I didn't quite put that connection together.
That's what it reminds me of.
Does anyone still remember Rock'em Sock'em robots? That's the question.
I would assume.
So we're going to see one last look at night, even after dark. They do stunts with a lot of the characters, and you have Spider-Man. I think he's even more impressive at night doing his animatronic flip over here.
And we have, a 9-night trip coming up in August?
I know. I can't wait. So we'll get to experience all of this in person and really be able to talk better about everything.
It'll be very interesting. So here is Tusker House. It was just announced yesterday that Tusker House is opening on June 20th. And Friday is when you can start booking it. There'll be character appearances. You got Donald, Goofy, Mickey here. And so it'll be really fun. You can do breakfast or lunch and dinner is going to be the same.
I think we'll do a lunch and dinner. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Another
lunch
meal.
And dinner.
No. Well, one of those, not both. That would be a rough day.
And then Disney After Hours Boo Bash was also, more information was given. There's going to be select nights from August 10th through October 31st, and it will include cavalcades, characters. You've got like Madame Carlotta, and then they also, just like other after hours events, you've got the snacks, the popcorn, the ice cream novelties, bottled soda and water.
Right.
Then you've got like cadaver dance. So plus you get to ride the rides. I don't know how many people they're going to have for this, but
and it is priced as an after hours event, so that's a little more than you might be used to.
Well, like $199 for October 31st, but less for other dates.
Right. I think the cheapest dates are in August, early September.
And now we're heading to Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. We were there a couple of days ago. The resort is undergoing quite a few changes. So we're just looking at the monorail platform and the station, which is not yet reopened. The Great Ceremonial House has been has had all this work been going on since, I don't know, October or so of last year.
Well, this bridge was completely gone. Almost everything was gone. So
it was gone.
It's back. It almost looks like it used to.
Yeah. So Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, while it has been open for Disney Vacation Club members since last June, has not been open as far as the standard rooms. And then some aspects of it, like Trader Sam's and Ohana, are not open. And so they've taken this time to change up the main entrance, the porte cochere, the monorail station. All of this work is going on. Late July is when standard rooms are scheduled to open with the Moana theme, which is
That'll be
also
very
new.
interesting. Yeah.
Yes, and but they've really started. It feels like they've really picked up the pace here.
So also in the morning, we are over at the beach club. It is time for breakfast.
We were going to Cape May Cafe. There's no characters right now, and thus the breakfast for us was $25 per person. I thought this was a terrific value, and we really enjoyed it. I love stopping at Disney's Beach Club Resort anyway.
So here we are. We're just outside Cape May Cafe. It has been quite some time since I have stepped foot in this restaurant.
And so here we are heading in, and the first thing you do is you receive your bread and pastries, and then the hostess brings you to your table. Right now we're looking at an empty restaurant because we went back, and we just want to show a little bit of the restaurant. This was after hours.
There's quite the time between breakfast and dinner servings.
Yes, and so we will show the food and everything, but we want to show a little bit of the decor as well.
I like the sea creatures that were on the carpet. I saw some crab there, not Sebastian.
And I think that there was also like a large Mickey near us, but I didn't really notice it as much. This was probably the busiest restaurant we've been to since we started going back to indoor dining.
It's nice to take the time to see the theming, though. You have the waves up there. It's very, very nautical, perfect for what it is.
You know, it's like a seaside beach theme, and there's really some great artwork. I don't know if you're going to show it, but beautiful artwork.
We'll
there's
see
the
that
Mickey.
at the end. Mm-hmm.
Do you see the Mickey
Yeah,
on
we
the
sat
floor?
right, and that's our seat right there, right against the wall.
I totally didn't notice it while we were eating. So we didn't get a regular menu. We get the QR code, and then also you can order other items like French press coffee, but you get standard drinks included. They didn't have the lobster tail that they really talk about.
Yeah, they were pushing that when it first reopened.
But they only had it like opening day. But we got, for a sweet item, they gave us a chocolate croissant and then a couple of multi-grain croissants.
I really did like
items.
the chocolate croissant, by the way. I thought
It was
very
really good. And then there's like a Nutella, butter, and a jelly.
Now, they also had beverages included, and there was quite the selection. You had the fresh orange juice, which was great. I ended up having a few of those.
That was really good. You got 2 of those. And
coffee and
Pog juice.
Yeah, the Pog, or they call it different things at different resorts.
Here, I think they call it just the Pog juice. Right. You know, at Disney's Fort Wilderness, it's called Moonshine. And then, you know, they
Jungle
had a Boma.
juice.
Here I am just like hanging out.
And your tea, you also had a cold iced tea that was included as well. And we have some fruit cup there.
There's a fresh fruit was brought to the table, and then each of us received some yogurt with granola. And that was very nice with a big strawberry in it.
At this point, we were like, "Boy, this is like eating in France in our
That's
hotel."
That's what I said. It reminded me of a continental breakfast in France, like being at the Elysee.
Oh yeah, and then especially the next
the salmon.
the salmon. Mm-hmm.
So you got the
nice cold smoked salmon, yummy.
The salmon was not mentioned on the menu online, so that was a nice surprise. Plus, then we each had a omelet.
Yeah, the last one I had a Western omelet, and yours
I
is
had
a
a
veggie omelet, and the omelet was maybe the best. The omelet probably was my favorite item.
It was,
and the salmon, of course.
The omelet was really good. Plenty of vegetables. They have like onions and mushrooms and I think some spinach in it. It was really good. And then you said that this reminded you of Boma.
Right.
And there is the inside of your omelet.
Of the Western omelet, and very quick inside of your veggie omelet.
That was so good. And I just think for the price, it was like, that's not all we had.
Right. That's just the appetizer.
That's a start. No. And then they bring you 2 platters. There was a Mickey and a Minnie waffle in here. I didn't even eat any waffle because I can have waffles anywhere.
French toast.
And it was a brioche French toast, which was excellent. And then I did have a pancake because I almost never have pancakes. I guess we haven't been to Polynesian in a while.
Now, we probably didn't need the scrambled eggs because we just had omelets, but the eggs were really good. You had nice crispy bacon, sausage, tater tots.
And then also a beef hash. This was just such a nice meal. And I mentioned $25. Like, you could go to a restaurant and have like an omelet for like $12 and then an orange juice and a coffee, and you're already up at like $20.
Yeah,
and
this was a feast. It really was.
And with the annual pass discount, we also got 10% off, so $22.50 plus tax and gratuity. So upwards of about $30 per person. But that really was our breakfast and our lunch because it was such a filling meal.
It was almost up to Boma quality for me, and that's what I consider all breakfasts.
And
yes. Oh, and the Four Seasons, of course, too.
I just thought
this was absolutely fantastic.
The only thing, it just seemed a little bit more crowded than I'm used to in a restaurant right now. I'm just not quite there yet, but otherwise, I
can see why they couldn't do characters, because it would have been very tight.
There's no way that they can do that right now.
So now we're looking at Epcot. Of course, we had to walk off that big breakfast, and we went to Epcot. And it's just the plantings. They always have different plantings as the seasons go further and further, and it was a beautiful day.
Well, it goes, it's almost like from winter to spring to a little bit of summer. So there's usually 2 plantings, probably 3 right now because of how long the flower and garden is going. And we're just looking also, like, I know Moana Journey of Water, I just read, started going vertical today. We've got Club Cool coming this summer. We've got I want to say the Creation Shop, right?
Yes.
I keep wanting to say the Creature Shop, like a Henson
I think we're looking
thing.
at that area right here. I'm not sure if this is. I think this would be the Club Cool area, I believe.
I hope it comes back similar to what it was. I would love to see a caveman.
They have a ton of people working there
yes.
too. I mean, obviously they're really pushing to get this done.
Well, they said summer, and we're just about in summer now. So hopefully in the next couple months we'll see it open.
I can't wait. I look forward to my Beverly. It would have made a day absolutely perfect for an ice cold Beverly after that delightful breakfast.
Can't you buy Beverly at Disney Springs?
I think so. I think at the Coke store. We haven't
been
up there lately.
Yeah, we haven't in a long time, so we should. We didn't spend too much time at Epcot on this day. Really, just kind of swung mostly.
Well, I said it was a beautiful day, but it was also an incredibly hot day. So that's what kept it short. I always love watching them manicure the topiaries.
We have never really seen them doing a lot of work on topiaries ever before this year. We've seen like gardeners spraying the flowers and all that every year, but it really has been, it's like kind of watching them doing a little bit of artwork,
Right, they're making really nice. Them look as perfect as we're used to, and I really enjoy seeing that. Very nice.
This is one of my favorite things that's come about from this year.
And here is a beautiful look at nighttime at Epcot. This is from a different night. We don't usually get to Epcot after dark, so it was really nice that we were able to do that again.
Just every so often, but I think, once we have these, the points of light on Spaceship Earth, it will be something, the evening, the beacons of magic at the various parks will probably get out a little bit more in the evenings later this year.
Right, we just love to do the rope drop at Epcot because it's just so peaceful and relaxing. But as it gets hotter and hotter in the summertime, I think nighttime for us. More
evenings. And here we are heading into Universal Orlando Resort. We were back, what was this, a little over a week ago. Mm-hmm. And since then, now they don't have masks indoor or outdoor as far as requiring them.
I thought it was very interesting to see the Green Goblin and Dr. Doom, two Marvel villains here at Universal. After all that talk about
Marvel.
The Avengers campus, it's interesting here in Orlando you can see these Marvel characters at Universal.
And I think it's interesting, you don't really hear them mention them in Disney California Adventure as Marvel characters.
You never hear the word Marvel, right?
Almost never. Captain Marvel, but superhero. They call them superheroes.
And you know what? You can ride a Spider-Man ride here too. So it's pretty interesting.
It's actually a great attraction. It's been there since the park opened.
It's one of my favorite attractions of all time. Actually, I love the Spider-Man ride. Yes,
it's up there for me. And so what we're here for a couple of things. One of them was the Raptor Encounter. They had a new new raptor called Bravo.
Well, first, though, we're going to say hello to Tango, a little Tango here, who is related to Bravo.
Yeah,
and
DNA.
All because of Blue's DNA. His trainer was telling me this. You can watch that. I'll link to it later. So I learned a little history of Tango there.
The raptor encounters at here and at Hollywood are really fun. They have a Triceratops encounter that we did.
I love that.
At Hollywood, last visit about 2 years ago at this point.
I don't even know if they are still doing that, but that was fantastic. I love that.
I would assume they are, but they have a really great raptor encounters. But here is Here's Bravo.
Yes, Bravo. He makes his grand appearance. He was fantastic. I love meeting the full adult raptors. They're so energetic.
They're really interesting, and this is a very different type of experience, really, than the one in
Hollywood.
Right, because in Hollywood you actually see them walk around to get to where they're going. At least some of them walk.
Oh no, they're fully walking around.
Yes.
Right. It's not like here they're always behind the bushes. Although it makes it a little more menacing, especially you walk, I always walk a little closer than they tell you to, so that way the raptor can get me, and oh no sir, they bite. It's always just it's so much fun to do this in person. I really enjoy this.
And some of the raptors, like they had Blue, and then they added Sierra and Tango, and now we also have Bravo. It's a really nice lineup, and we went through several times and got to see several raptors.
I was very surprised that it wasn't of a long of a line as it could have been.
Well, everybody was coming and they were like, "Is this a coaster?"
Yes.
No, it's not a coaster.
Yeah, they were what do they call them? Not cast members.
Team members.
Team members stationed out front saying, "It's not a ride. You're going to meet the dinosaurs," and people would turn around and keep going.
And the funny thing is, this often has had a very big line, and certainly the Hollywood one is very, very popular on the lower lot. And so I just think everybody's so thinking about the Velocicoaster, that they're like, okay, well, maybe later.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. And again, this is now Blue. Blue looks very similar, by the way, to Bravo.
I actually wouldn't know the difference, but I'm not really good at, which ones are which, unfortunately.
So anyway, that was our experience. So much fun. I, again, love meeting the dinos here at Universal. Now we went over to Universal Studios Park, and we had gone over to see the new DreamWorks experience.
The DreamWorks Destination just opened, and it was actually under technical rehearsal on this day, but I think it was just running as it is now. And so before, the DreamWorks characters, this is in the Kids Zone area of the park.
Used to be the Barney area.
The DreamWorks characters were at various areas, and really on this section of the park, and now they're all inside in a nice air-conditioned big top.
It's
That's kind of
actually
like what
delightful. It's everybody. They're all in the same area, so it's much easier. And here's one of the penguins.
Yeah, except
outside.
for the poor penguin.
But they let him in later.
Who's outside in like 95-degree weather.
So here we are inside, nicely decorated area.
And it just shows various characters. They show Toothless, and I would love to see a Toothless walk around.
That would be really cool. And I think they've had that in Hollywood at one point, maybe for a short period of time.
I think so too, very brief. So here they have, I think, 3 different sets.
20-minute sets, that's correct.
And so we were there a while. We were there probably almost an hour. And so you have Branch here and Puss in Boots and King Julian. And so what they do is for 20 minutes, they dance, they, pose for guests and with guests, and then they walk around so that everybody can kind of see them. Like, we mostly saw Branch here, but then every so often they'll would do
rotate,
this.
Right. And if mostly for the people who want to take pictures with them, you sit up close. There's little dots on the ground, and mainly the adults like us get to sit in chairs and benches in the back, which is delightful. Could sit there.
Yeah.
You were on the phone for quite some time, but I had to get all the I wanted to get all the characters, and you had to see all 3 sets to do that.
Well, I took some pictures, and then I'd go on the phone and just like read Twitter or something. It was
what an advertisement for the attraction.
It was very relaxing. We had a nice bench. It was air conditioned. I just thought it was quite nice in here, and
well, obviously we don't need a full 20 minutes with each set, but if you want to see them all, you have to do that.
And you got Alex the Lion here. We have Poppy. So I'm surprised they don't put the trolls. You could have Poppy, Branch, and Guy Diamond in the center. But
Speaking
here's
of
Guy Diamond.
And he makes his triumphant reappearance here.
Yeah, he. I think he debuted a little over a year ago, There was
Well, you never know from this angle what's going to happen, but no glitter
No,
has, was protruded today.
I still remember the first time we saw him, and he would like hop, and all of a sudden like glitter is flying out of his
shoot
rear
out of
end.
his,
It
yes.
was so interesting.
Well, the kids would love it.
Yes, no, they really did.
And the adults.
Yes, especially the children. So here is Gloria. You have Guy Diamond. We ended up with Gloria ended up leaving, and then when the penguins returned.
Yeah, so I think that worked out good. The poor penguin was very hot outside, and it was delightfully cool, so worked out well.
And then Poe. So you can see kind of the variety of characters you have. They show Shrek on the walls, and while Puss in Boots is here, Shrek and Fiona still meet by the Shrek show.
By donkey.
Yeah. Yep. And so not all the DreamWorks characters are here, but there's quite a few. And, kids seemed especially to enjoy this.
And you get a new set of dancers and a new MC every time they do a change. So every 20 minutes.
Did not even notice that. I didn't notice it. That's terrible. No, it's not terrible that they do it. It's terrible that I didn't notice.
So after all that, we decided, let's see if we can get into Finnegan's. And shock, we were able to get in quicker than expected.
There were such long lines for food on this day, and this was like 4 p.m., so it's sort of in between that lunch and dinner time, and we have not been to Finnegan's in a couple of years, and I do love the food here. Usually I get the chicken, but I ended up with something different, and it's an Irish pub.
Well, we walked up and they said about 15 minutes, and they took our
information,
phone,
yes,
and then we got a text, and you can come early.
Yeah,
so it was just really great.
Like 5 minutes, and we were seated, and not in this room, in the next room, but they have a variety of different Irish beers and cocktails.
And you could see there was the plexiglass between all the booths. We had a booth here, and then if guests were to sit in those chairs, they actually wheel out plexiglass on wheels and put them between the tables. So they're still doing it. At least when we were there last week, they were still doing that.
I will say this is probably my favorite restaurant at the parks of Universal. The other ones like Mythos, they seem to have some of the same food items, where not so much here. They started us out. She was like, "Do you want Irish soda bread?" Because I guess you can still request it.
Right. You have to know and ask it, I think.
Except that she said
very
it
nice.
A little
like
more quietly.
Yes.
And I didn't realize. I wasn't thinking they still did that. And then, is that a Guinness?
That is indeed. You have to have a Guinness if you're going to Finnegan's. I think it's a rule.
And then I had a cocktail, and I just love the atmosphere here, and the Irish soda bread. It was a little dry this time. But just the fact that they're still giving you complimentary or included Irish soda bread, not every place is doing things like that.
Yeah, there were some places that we used
anymore.
to go to and used to get bread said no more bread.
Right. And so you got the bangers and mash.
Oh, it did not disappoint. Once again, fantastic. I wish, looking back, I had brought one back, because it would have been nice to have one the next day. You were the smart one, but that was a fantastic meal. Just what I wanted.
Next time you can bring one home for the next day, and then I can just fry it up. And so that is the other side. They have mashed potatoes, and I had mashed potatoes as well. The mashed potatoes were very creamy, really a nice item. So you enjoyed them too.
Absolutely. And there's a little bit on your Guinness stew.
It was actually a good amount, and the Guinness stew is delicious, and I normally don't get the Guinness stew here, so I think probably from now on I'm going to get the Guinness stew because it was so good. And then it came with mashed potatoes. I think it was about $18. I don't have that in front of me.
And you get your pass hole. If you have an annual pass, you get a little discount.
It is one of the better entrees that I've had in the last couple of years at any park.
Yeah, did not disappoint. Finnegan's was wonderful.
Still excellent. And I tried to get reservations here during the day, and it was impossible. Really, the lines were very long for food almost everywhere. So the fact that we could come here and be in within 5 minutes when I couldn't even get an online reservation, I thought was really great.
Yeah, the lesson there is just give it a shot. If you're close to the restaurants and you don't mind going at an off time, absolutely, it's worth a shot.
Especially right now when not everything is open, and those lines for some of the food looked like they were like an hour.
And that is another show thanks to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel.
They are also Universal Fan Travel.
That's right. Oh, yes.
She's just stayed at the Hard Rock. So if you have questions about, if you're wanting to book like the Hard Rock or one of the other Sapphire
Minion
Falls,
Suites, perhaps.
I believe that's at Portofino. We haven't, we toured them when I had my broken ankle, so like 6 years ago. So check MEI and Mouse Fan Travel out. That is, their specialty is Disney and Universal and cruising also, which is due to come back really soon.
I'm so excited. We get to cruise on the Disney Wish next year.
Yes, and just over, I guess just
over
next
a year.
September or next
October,
August. So I know we're around my birthday.
Yes, right.
So I look forward to that, but we have a lot going on before then.
And next week we will talk about the Plaza. We went back to the Plaza at the Magic Kingdom, had a great experience there. We'll be talking about that.
The Plaza restaurant was it was really nice, and they had, I mentioned earlier, homemade sangria. I thought that was very good.
We know you're.
I only had one. So we have a lot. I think we have a lot coming up, right?
If the weather holds out, we'll be at Legoland tonight.
If the weather holds out, and then we're have a Crib Royale this weekend.
SeaWorld as well.
SeaWorld, yeah, we're doing a lot.
Magic Kingdom.
We have a lot. We have a lot going on. So I have no idea what's totally going to be on the show next week. Except we are going to talk about the Plaza restaurant. That's the only thing I know.
So thanks again for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Have a great week.